Phil Riley, 63 Pontiac Tempest, Pro Street car here in Indy. I came from Martinsville. I drove up there this morning. I don't trailer this anywhere. Well, my wife has a 63 Tempest. It's bone stock, and we couldn't seem to find all the parts we needed for it, so I bought a donor car to build hers. And when we were done robbing all the parts off of it, couldn't get myself to throw it away, so I ended up building a Pro Street car out of it. 8 years later, this is what I came up with. I was after that dare to be different look. I don't like driving anything that's like anybody else's on the road. So number one, we chose the color of brown because you don't see a lot of brown hot rods. The Tameless Tiger that Arnie Beswick used to race back in the day, he's a famous drag racer. He inspired me off of his Tameless Tiger. It was a Tempest just like this, and they altered the wheelbase and moved the rear wheels forward a little bit, made for good wheelies. But he'd been racing for a long time, and he came and checked out my car and signed the dash. Didn't know he was going to write me a letter, but I thought he was going to just sign it, but he wrote me a letter on the dash there, and that's cool because I admire him. I came up with a 421 out of an old Bonneville. Did fine for a while. I put a blower on it and ran it around. It was only making 500 horse, and it wasn't fast enough, and so we modified it some more, and I had Butler building the engine. Now it's running 800 horse on pump gas. With the AC on, it'll idle around in traffic all day at a big event and doesn't overheat. Got a Be Cool radiator in it, and Rossler did the transmission. I told him it needed to be streetable. I wasn't making it for race. But and then I built a 9-inch Ford rear end for it, put a 4-link in it. A guy that used to work for John Force, he did some chassis work for them, and he built my chassis. And I told him I wanted to make it a lift-off body. So it's got 12 body mounts that you can unbolt and take the body straight up. And the floor is welded to the chassis, so you can lift the body straight off and go out and drive the car with no body on it. It's all Mickey Thompson. I think they call them an SR Radial. 2233s on the rear. So it's as big as they go. That's what I wanted. I wanted as big as I could get in there. We built the chassis around those tires, I think, because I wanted that really stupid wide look, you know. The upholstery didn't go so well. We had, I built the dash and did some of the modifications and changed the way I wanted it laid out and designed everything the way I wanted it, but I couldn't find an upholstery guy to do it the way I was wanted. They wanted to do what they wanted to do, and I wasn't working. So I fired a couple of upholstery guys in the process because I wanted it to be one-off too, nothing like anybody else's. So I finally found a guy to help me finish it. John from Cover-All Upholstery in Martinsville. He did some of the sewing that needed to be done. A lot of the upholstery I did myself, it didn't do any sewing. Boy, there's a lot of body mods on it. You have to walk around and look at them all to see. It looks like a stock body, but it's not. It is all steel. There's no fiberglass in it. And the only chrome on it is the bumpers. I know it's got a lot of shiny parts on it, but that's a lot of ceramic chrome finish, like what you coat headers with. A lot of the suspension is done that way as well. The sound system's 7 speakers. It's got a sub, and it's got to be pretty loud to be able to drown out the exhaust. The wing that you see on a lot of these Pro Street cars or drag cars, they usually have screws and fasteners all over them, and I told them I didn't want to see any of that. I wanted it all hidden. So the guy, Rusty Herford, he's an old IndyCar builder, he made my wing and my fuel tank for it. And those store-bought stuff, you can't buy it from Jegs or Summit, you know. You got to make it. Same thing with the inner fenders. You got to make those. This was a unibody car. Shaved all the gutters off of it. Put Lexan windows in it. It used to have big, gaudy, wide chrome that went around all the windows, and it was kind of bulky looking. There was pieces missing that I couldn't get either. So we decided to shave everything and smooth it out that way. I put electric windows in it. It's got power steering, AC, tilt wheel. Doors are electric. I made those door handles. They're mechanical and electric. So when the power's on, you can hit my remote and the door will pop open for you. It's fantastic. I could run in it all day if I wanted. It's comfy. It's just noisy. Been pulled over a handful of times. It's usually cops wanting to ask me questions about the car, because there's a lot of cop guys out there that are car lovers too. It's a lot of fun to drive. I don't really have any plans of letting it go anytime soon. Just drive it and enjoy it. That's what they're for, right? I hate seeing people push cars in.